Oh, what is happening, everybody? Happy Tuesday, and thanks for checking out this episode of Pucks from the Pine Tree Pod. Before we dive in, go hit that like button, go hit that subscribe button down below on this video. It helps the channel out big time. So, what did we see last night? We all had the chance to sit down and watch what I guess was just an excellent fighting competition with a little bit of hockey sprinkled in. Man, coming off the heels of two amazing overtime thrillers in the Stanley Cup Final, it did feel like we were due for a bit of a blowout, a bit of an out of control sort of game, and none surprised at all that Florida was on the winning side of this one. Let's go check out some of the numbers from this game, starting with the goal scorers. Of course, Brad Marchand getting the scoring off early, 56 seconds into that first period, assisted by Lundell and Listerine, and that line continues to cook. And towards the end of that period, Edmonton trying to hold on to just a 1-0 deficit. Carter Verhaeghe on a power play, assisted by Rodriguez and Schmidt to make it 2-0 going into the second. Corey Perry would make it interesting early in the second period at the 140 mark on a power play, making it 2-1, assisted by Bouchard and Ekholm. But not long after, at the 3-minute mark, it's Reinhart assisted by Verhaeghe, 3-1. Then it's all downhill from here. Sam Bennett from Lusterinen at the 7:26 mark in the second, 4-1, and really the game is over at that point. The Panthers would add two more in the third period. Ekblad on a power play from Reinhart and Kachuk at the 3:27 mark of the third, and that's when Skinner is pulled. And then Rodriguez with the sixth goal on another power play, assisted by Mikkola and Forsling to make it 6-1. Some team stats in this one: shots on goal, Edmonton 33-31 for Florida. Penalty minutes, of course, something we'll talk about clearly in this game. 85 penalty minutes to 55 for Florida Panthers. Power plays, 3 for 11 for the Panthers, 1 for 6 for the Oilers. And the faceoff dot, you were at 51.6% for Edmonton, 48.4% for the Florida Panthers. Yeah, big picture, game three was all about Florida baiting Edmonton into playing their style of game. And the Oilers fell hook, line, and sinker into their hands. 11, 11, let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 penalties, 85 penalty minutes served, and I lost count of how many 10-minute misconducts were handed out. It started to feel like that time in my seventh grade math class where the entire room was just all wound up and not listening to the teacher. And the teacher starts writing the names on the board, for demerits. And the longer it went on, the longer the class went on, the more and more of us kept misbehaving, including myself, and all of our names went on the board. That's just exactly what this game felt like for the Edmonton Oilers. They could not help themselves. Florida did exactly what they wanted to do in this game. They scored first and very, very early, of course, at that 56 second mark in that first period. Of course, third goal in a row in this playoff for Brad Marchand. Of course, he got the last two in game two. They got to their checking game early, and they were able to get the Oilers way off their skis and out of their rhythm big time. The game became so controlled by the Panthers, it became so obvious what was happening. The Panthers players were just kind of laughing at the Oilers and smiling at them, even during scrums. Like you could see it on the cameras. It was fantastic. They had that look like, yeah, we got you right where we want you, sucker. We got you. We got you. Beyond that, the Panthers did an excellent job finding a weak spot in Stuart Skinner's net coverage. Short side, glove side, and up. A couple of posts in there, but up a lot of times. I think they beat him there at least twice, maybe three times. I kind of lost track. But it felt like Florida was taking aim in that direction, and it worked magically for them in this game. Simply put, from the drop of the puck, the Panthers were better in every facet of game three. Near the end of that first period, right before Florida scored the second goal, I turned to my friend and said, the Oilers will just be happy to get out of this period down one. That will be a success. And just as I say that, Verhaeghe pops in that second goal of the period. And even though there was plenty of game left, you had over 40 minutes left in the game, it already felt like it was out of reach for Edmonton. Turning to the Oilers, game three was the most undisciplined, most irresponsible effort of their playoffs to date. They completely allowed Florida to get under their skin. They showed zero self awareness or self control and became way too focused on answering the bell for hits and physical stuff. Florida knows how to play that way. They know how to be sneaky. They have that timing cadence down with how they kind of play on the edge. It's part of their DNA. It is not part of the DNA for Edmonton, at least not to that level. And Edmonton, they just don't have the same touch or the understanding of timing with their physical play and the extra hits and all that kind of stuff. Because, like I just said, it's not their primary MO. It's not how they go and play and be successful. And it's certainly not how they're going to win this series. Clearly, not how they're going to win this series. This was a major point I brought up in my season or series preview video just a little while ago. You can go back and check that out. If Edmonton's going to have any success here, if they're going to come back and win this series, they need to avoid Florida's silliness, the physical stuff, the kind of after whistle scrums. Don't get caught in their trap because boy, you got trapped hard in game three, big time. Unacceptable play up and down the lineup for the Oilers. And I think for the coaching staff, this is actually an easy one, in the film room. They've got boatloads of film, boatloads of examples to review over the next couple days. And the messaging back to the team is going to be very easy here. We cannot play this way and win the Stanley Cup. Review it, burn the tape, and get back to your precision game, get back to your speed game and attack. That's it. I mean, easier said than done, yes, but that's got to be the message coming from Knobloch and the coaching staff as they look back here on a game three that just got completely out of hand very, very early. Looking at McDavid and Draisaitl, they were kind of non-existent in this game, and I remember listening to the commentators going deeper into that third period. They're like, "I don't want McDavid and Draisaitl on the ice." I kind of don't blame them, right? I don't know how much they really played in that third period, but only 2 shots on goal for McDavid and 0 for Draisaitl. That absolutely needs to change going into game 40. You got to get these guys involved, get them going early. They're the heartbeat, obviously, of your team. And what about Skinner? Gets pulled after the 5th goal. And really for the second straight game, he looked kind of slow in net, looked slow to respond. It really wasn't reading plays very well, in my opinion. He's just getting beat on too many predictable plays, too many predictable moves. Yeah, of course, we know not all on him. His D does need to be better, but he was very gettable in the past 2 games. And I won't be surprised if Calvin Pickard is back in that to start game 4. Of course, he finished that third period. And if it was just about this game for Skinner, maybe you go back to him in game 4, but it has been 2 games in a row for Stewart. Pickard's played well when he's been called upon. I do think you roll with Calvin going into Thursday night. I'm going to save you guys the just the pain of breaking down every period and every play from this game. It was just kind of a mind-numbing sort of contest, and at times hard to watch, at least for me. Listen, if you're into watching poorly timed fighting and bad fighting, great. Maybe this was the game for you. But we were due for a clunker in this series, and that's exactly what we got. Listen, good on Florida for dragging the Oilers into the fight. They got exactly what they wanted. That's what championship teams do. Now, does Edmonton have the mental fortitude to be prepared and answer back with their style of play in the next one? If they want to be put in that category of championship type teams, they absolutely will need to do that. Is game 4 a must win for the Oilers? Sure, technically, no. No game 4 is a must win, I guess, unless you're down 3-0, but it does sure feel that way, right? It feels like this is a must win for Edmonton. A 3-1 deficit for the Oilers won't be a healthy spot, and I highly doubt the Panthers will let the Oilers off the mat this time if that happens, right? They kind of let them off the mat last year a little bit, up 3-0, then it goes to 3-3. I don't think Florida does that this time if it turns into a 3-1 situation. So Thursday night should be a lot of fun. Should be very, very interesting to see how that goes. Like I say, I expect Pickard and net. I do expect a response from Edmonton. I don't think they play that way again going into game four. I don't think they play with that kind of out of control emotion. They got to reel it in. They absolutely have to reel it in, or this thing could be over in five. But listen, I predicted a 7 game series. I did feel like this would go back to Edmonton, tied 2-2. So I do fully expect Edmonton to respond, to clean it up, and to put out a much better effort come Thursday night. So, with that behind us, we do have a little bit of news out of the ECHL. Their protected lists have come out. So, the Maine Mariners, their list is out. You can check that out at the marinersofmaine.com website. Michael Keeley did put out a press release yesterday. And quoting from his article, the protected list is the first phase in a 3-step offseason process in which teams can protect playing rights through the signing period. The list does not include players on AHL or NHL contract, and it is not equal to a signing. As I said, you can go to, and I will post the article here on the video. But Maine did put their 30 player list out yesterday, so good to see that. Getting ever so close to free agency, and they'll be really, really interested to see how Coach Wallen and GM Wallen, I should say, builds his team going into the 2025-2026 season. So until Thursday, enjoy a couple of nights here without hockey. Maybe go, see your family. Go make sure your kids still know you're alive, and go pet the dog. Whatever you got to do. Enjoy a couple of days off. But we'll be back with you guys most likely Friday with another video recapping Game 4. So thank you all for watching and listening today. If you do like what you're hearing, again, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button down below. Do appreciate that, everybody. And until next time, be kind, show love, and God bless.